Associate Director, Institute for Digital Culture, Leicester Law School, University of Leicester, UK. Dr. Sarah Jane Fox has been involved in law and technology for over 25 years. This includes working in academia in various government positions. In 2015 to 2016, she secured a highly prestigious Fulbright Commission postdoctoral research scholarship in the US for 12 months. She was also co-funded by Lloyds of London, and her research factored in the risk of advancing technologies. In particular, her international expertise relates to both drones and space technologies alongside security and safety risks. Dr. Fox is a research advisor and consultant for the European Union and for the United Nations. In 2024, Dr. Fox was a top 20 recipient of a UN Peace Prize, which related to the risks, challenges, and opportunities of new and advancing technologies. Dr. Fox has presented her research across the globe and has written numerous academic papers. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Sarah Jane Fox with a round of applause. Hello. Ma'am, are you
Hello,
there?
good morning to you. Yes, good morning to you. I'm just trying to share with you a presentation, so just bear with me while I locate that. I think you have a copy, if not, but bear with me.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, you may begin.
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Okay, ma'am, you may start now.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am, okay.
Okay, bear with me because I just want to share with you a presentation.
Okay, ma'am.
Can you see the presentation? I think it's just uploading it. It's just uploading it for you, so bear with me.
Ma'am, you may share the... It's uploading the PPT.
Yes. I think you have a copy your end, so it may be quicker to upload it from your side. But just while it's uploading, hopefully it will upload okay. So thank you to the organisers for inviting me here today to speak with you and join in this conference event. So as you've said, you introduced me very well, so thank you very much indeed for that presentation where you introduced me. So a little bit about my background. As you said, I'm currently at the University of Leicester, where I am in the School of Law. I'm also Associate Director for the Institute for Digital Culture. And I've worked in legal, policy and strategy roles relating to policing and security. And my particular expertise is in the field, but also adjoins the area of transport modes and systems, which includes technology implications and use. That's across the area of the good and the bad of technology. So I've also researched across space, technologies, drones, autonomous systems, and other advancing transport areas. And I can see some of that's already on your agenda for discussions today. Alongside this, I've looked at future cities, and that's where some of my work with the UN lies, and the implications of diversity, inclusions, and equality and equity in technology developments and decision makings. So as you said, related to this, I'm sitting on various expert groups and panels at the United Nations and European Unions. And I want to kind of bring in some of my sort of research and discussions and thoughts with you today. So as this conference recognises, there remains a symbiotic connection between technology and the advancement of humankind. Revolution and evolution go hand in hand, and law and legislation has had, and most importantly, must continue to have a key role in ensuring that technologies are used ethically and legitimately and to the benefit of humanity and the societies we live in. This must be undertaken with fairness and equity to all. The theme of this conference relates to many of these areas that intersect. So we need to guarantee moving forward that safety systems are in place across a vast number of developing technology areas, whilst indicating only too clearly the impact that technology is to have to our very existence today. But technology isn't new. It's as we understand it from the perspective today. So I want to just kind of go back to the early forms of technology that our ancestors developed and the earlier forms. So if you look at all these, some of these may not look like technologies for our thinking today. So as you can see, there was quite a, I'm sorry because it's not quite presenting in the same way, but we can see that some of it goes back to 3.3 million years ago when first tools were developed. Now, by our standards today, that doesn't look like technology. In essence, we didn't legislate many of these early forms of technology, and actually that was to our detriment because there's lessons to be learned here. A lot of the early technology is the reasons why we're here today and advance so much. And obviously a lot of that relates to transport modes and systems. But we can see some of the impact that some of this has had when we consider things like nuclear and space technology. So there are lessons to be learned clearly from history. If we look back, there are a number of key roles that we perhaps should have legislated from earlier. But what does technology mean? So from its simplest form, as a use of scientific knowledge for practical purposes or application, whether in industry or in our daily lives. From this sense, we can see that fire, which was one of the earlier forms, easily fits into this description, although lacking any form of machinery and developed equipment or even a computer. But each of these revealed risks as we went through, including fire. Did we or our ancestors anticipate the risk of some of these technologies? Did we learn from our experience and worryingly some of the events from the past? So if we look at where we are today, one of our biggest concerns today is inevitably the linking advancing systems and artificial intelligence, and therefore regulating it is of key importance. But again, this is dependent upon how we define and recognise it, particularly in terms of artificial intelligence and controlling such systems. But actually, it should be noted that the history of AI is traceable back decades, and therefore no doubt also reveals a failure to talk, to coordinate on approaches and to legislate for certain risks we should have been both perceiving and also recognising as probably inevitable. In this sense, humankind arguably hasn't learned from the lack of proactive measures from the past. We need to be thinking of this before disaster occurs and risk intensifies. So let's have a look at some of these key dates. Although we start here in the 1950s, philosophers as far back as the 1700s started to write about how knowledge is constructed and whether or not it should be predicted in some way. We can see many key developments here listed. In 1950, Alan Turing started to question if machines can think or would be capable of thinking and the level of intelligence that that may have. So by the turn of the century or new century, which actually seems a long time ago now, we can see the rise of the computer growth and use alongside the ability to learn and to use natural language to communicate. In 2010, and I'm sure some of you won't recall that sort of particular date, but if you go on to the show Jeopardy, which you'll see a YouTube video of, you can see some of the impact of how computers started to outthink mankind. First, as I alluded to, perhaps one challenge remains to actually define what artificial intelligence is and actually at what stage we need to regulate it, or do we actually need to regulate its applications more? In the UK, the House of Lords Select Committee on AI released a report in 2017-2018 that used this following definition. AI is technologies with the ability to perform tasks that would otherwise require human intelligence, such as visual perception, speech recognition, and language translation. But this is problematic definition because it tries to define AI to compute human intelligence, so it compares it, which is itself notoriously hard to define and actually to equate to. Although this definition is a key feature of many AIs, which looks at the advancement, applying the huge processing powers that computers have today and will have in the future, which outsees the expectations of humankind can ever have. Meanwhile, the EU Commission has suggested the following definition of AI, which is shown there. The EU's Commission wording introduces the concept of autonomy, which is perhaps an indicator of where AI will head. But these differences and variable approaches across the globe are creating a divergent approach around the world. From comprehensive legislation in the European Union to technology-specific rules in China and voluntary agreements in the US and semi-legislation across some of the states. In the UK and the US is probably dependent upon who's in government and in power. Despite these differences, all indicators that the global policymakers seem to be heading towards competing to leverage the power of AI, albeit while trying to mitigate the risks. But is this enough? So I also asked ChatGPT what it would define AI as, and you can see a definition here. You can see the different levels of AI and functions. As is shown, it is stated that AI systems can be designed to learn from data, as we know, adapt over the time, as we also know, and improve their performance. And that there are two main types of AI. This narrow AI, weak AI, which is where we probably are utilising it today. This type of AI is specialised in a specific task, like speech recognition, Siri, or dare I say, because she's very close by, Alexa, or recommendations systems such as Netflix or Amazon. It's designed to handle a particular function, but doesn't generally possess a general intelligence or consciousness. Whereas general AI, strong AI, this is theoretical form of AI, theoretical today, but not necessarily for tomorrow, that can perform intellectual tasks that a human can also do. It'll be capable of reasoning, understanding context, and even having emotions and creativity, similar to what we know as human characteristics. So where are we today, living with AI today? At the moment, we're at this narrow or weak area where we aim to, technically, keep the human in the loop. We are seeing more automation, more autonomous systems, said to increase accuracy and safety, saving labour and providing quick, consistent decisions. We have digital media. We have, as I said before, Siri and the person I daren't name because she's so close to me. And we're also utilising it in medical operations, customer service operations, and as I said, my sort of expertise across transport modes and systems where we're increasing efficiencies. These are based on reactive machines and limited memories such as chatbots. But if we look at tomorrow, we can't afford tomorrow to get here and be based on mislearning and missed opportunities. Today represents only the tip of the iceberg. We can see flaws today, however. Technology mislearns from the highly flawed human species that programs it. It carries on to develop bias and perhaps even anger. Tomorrow, that could result in AI being programmed for harm and learning harm and destructive behaviours, including warfare. Today, there is complacency around the risks of such technologies that remain sufficient given the fast-paced nature of change in the field of AI. It's becoming increasingly omnipresent, and indeed, we need to take this warning. Adverse outcomes of AI technology is one of the risks that we recognise is set to climb in the next 10 years. Whilst we are not there yet, AI will develop both a theory of mind and a self-awareness, which also brings challenges to the human species. We will see theory of mind, Theory of mind being the first theoretical stage of AI development. Why it doesn't exist currently, who knows when it will. It represents a point when an artificial intelligence system will be able to discern emotions as it makes a decision about how to respond to a prompt from a user. A system might be able to understand if there is an urgent tone in someone's voice, or if someone is frustrated, or if it perceives it to be either of the two. This capacity will enable the system to adjust its responses to different situations far beyond what is possible today. But again, there are risks here in terms of the level of response that it may actually put into place, including warfare. And then the next stage is self-awareness. When artificial intelligence system has mastered theory of mind, it might be able to reach a stage of self-awareness. In this stage, the system would understand what it is, it will know what it is, and that it has been made by humans. A self-aware AI system would essentially have human-level consciousness, which would allow it to adapt to immensely complex situation, and may even see the human species as a threat or an unnecessary requirement. Given this, now remains the time to discuss the laws that we have and importantly need to have in place. We need to learn from our ancestors, from some of the very basic technology that we saw that we failed to legislate for very early and failed to see the risks. In summary, I welcome open discussions and engagements that recognise our diverse society in such conversations. There remains a need to ensure that generations that are most likely to be impacted by any failures today are involved and take a key role in mitigating risks while maximising opportunities to use technologies in a positive way that benefits humankind tomorrow. So thank you very much. And that concludes my presentation. So I'm more than welcome to take any questions. I don't know if you want to do them at the end, but I'm more than welcome to take them. Thank you.
I would be glad to take any. There's no questions.
Okay, thank you.
Now we are thrilled to have Dr. Ella Gorian, Professor, Manipal Law School, Manipal Academy of Higher Education, Bengaluru here. And I'm sure you will be interested to hear what she has to say about law and technology. Dr. Ella has an academic and industry experience of more than 20 years. She was awarded a scholarship from British Foreign, Commonwealth, and the Development Office to study at the Nottingham University School of Law, and an academic excellence scholarship from Ukrainian government to pursue her PhD. Dr. Ella has taught a variety of comparative and legal international courses in the National Aviation University, Ukraine, and the Henan University, China. She's an author of 2 textbooks in public international law and more than 90 research papers, regularly presenting the results of her research in international conferences. I would like to invite her to share a few brief thoughts with us.
One, two, three. Am I audible? Okay. So very good morning to everyone. As you know, my name is Dr. Ella Gorian, and I'm here to deliver a keynote speech. And first of all, I want to tell you how thankful and how thrilled I am. Why? Because this is literally, frankly speaking, the first platform in India, conference platform and university platform in India, where I'm going to share my opinions, my concerns, my points of view regarding the law and technology in India, and specifically how we can improve our Indian legal system in the light of upcoming changes in technologies. I'm really thrilled. Why? Because as an Eastern European of Ukrainian origin, I'm trying to conduct my research in a very specific topic. Recently, I published a paper on Islamic ethics of artificial intelligence. My co-author, my very good friend from Malaysian University of Islamic Science, Dr. Nur Zuhaida bin Osman, she is my very good friend, and she was one of the person who inspired me to conduct this research. I do understand that I have to learn, I have to read more, but still I'm trying to do my best, and I believe that the international collaboration might help us to build a new effective regulatory frameworks. While being prepared for this keynote speech, I already printed out my speech, and I planned to follow what I have printed out. But during today's morning session and meeting wonderful faculties, wonderful students who are so friendly, open, I listened to our dignitaries, and I decided to focus on one aspect that I feel is very important. When we speak about law and technology, we're witnessing, and we're quite happy, witnessing the new era which is coming. India is shifting from the post-colonial legal system to the new Bharatiya laws, to the new legal system, which will reflect the uniqueness of India, the diversity of India. And I will highlight this term diversity several times. Why? Because India, as I shared to my dear mentor here, because India is very diverse. Every step you can see diversity. And in my recent research, I experienced and I explored many criteria how India is diverse. In some aspects, this diversity is our blessing. In some aspects, our diversity is not that good. I will dare to say this. I'm speaking about the economical diversity, economical divide, and so on. All these issues that you know way better than I am. And being a foreigner, I respect India as my second homeland. And being a foreigner, I respect Indian legal theory, philosophy, history, and I do understand that being a foreigner, I might seem ridiculous trying to understand, to comprehend the massive of philosophical and legal thought. Therefore, I humbly request you to not to judge me. I'm trying to do my best, being a teacher in Bengaluru, being a supervisor to my PhD students. So speaking about the recent developments, as you know, that one of the core issues in this intersection of law and technology is privacy. And privacy is a definition, is a term which is quite unique for every culture. And at the moment, we can see that the Western concept of privacy, the Western theory of privacy, is being globally recognized, starting from the European Union's GDPR, the personal data protection regulation that maintains the global standards. And we here in India, we're trying to follow this pathway. We developed and adopted the DPDPA Act in 2000, 2023. And now we are currently develop the framework which helps to protect our privacy, which helps to shift to the digital India. And you know about this digital India bill, which is currently being discussed. And despite the criticism or the opinions of certain scholars, international scholars, that India should be more quick, for example, as China. And personally, I experienced 4 years of being studying Chinese law in the aspect of cybersecurity, privacy, and data protection. I know a bit about Chinese legal system, and I've been thinking a lot. And the privacy. And as you know, I'm sorry. And as you know, the current concept of privacy came from Western legal system. But even in the Western world, you will find a lot of differences in understanding what privacy is. Check the landmark cases in privacy or landmark cases on privacy in United Kingdom, in USA, in New Zealand, Canada, in Europe. European Court on Human Rights also developed the European EU understanding of privacy. And therefore, now among scholarship, the new, it's not that new, but a very interesting approach is being used. It's called by the Western scholarship as the TWAIL, third world approach to the international law. But I'm not a big fan of such labels as third world, second world, first world, and so on. Therefore, it's been more than 10 years as I started developing, researching the different cultural approaches to law, to the international law as well. And you can see the Chinese scholarship on international law. There are several textbooks, how Chinese government scholarship understand the global norms and principles of international law. And you can see, like, watching the news, how different nations, how different countries perceive the unified United Nations standards, like UN Charter. It's universal, global, but many states perceive it in their own way. And with my dearest friend from Malaysia, with my Dr. Zuhaida, we started thinking that such cultural important, because culture maintains the basics of legal system, because culture maintains the rules of moral, how society works, and therefore culture affects how legal system is being shaped. Therefore, what we've done, we started discussing and researching how privacy as a global, not global, as the general definition is being perceived in different cultures. And I was overwhelmed. Since I'm a Western, non-Muslim person, I started exploring and reading the scholarship. There are a lot of scholarships on Islamic concept of privacy. And the more I read, the more I understood that I'm so sorry, but it will take a lot of time to me to understand, to comprehend, and maybe to develop certain theories and concepts. But my very good friend, Dr. Zuhaida, she is a very good specialist, expert in Sharia law, and she supported me. And we thought about what if the artificial intelligence is being used globally. The countries, different jurisdictions develop the frameworks. And these frameworks are quite unique And as for now, there are two legal frameworks that regulate artificial intelligence. One is in China, is developed in China, the provisional measures on the generative AI, and another, the European Union's Artificial Intelligence Act. And many countries are being developing, molding, shaping their framework how to regulate AI. And to regulate AI, you have to take into account multiple factors because AI interferes in our life and our privacy is affected. But what is privacy for people of Hindu origin? What is privacy for people from Ukrainian, as I am, origin? For Western Europeans, for South Americans? Our perception of privacy is being affected by the cultural, moral, linguistic, economic, geographical, educational factors, norms. Therefore, what is acceptable for one culture might not be that acceptable for other culture. And me and my co-author, Dr. Zuhaida, we started to develop this concept that since Westerners, they developed their concept of privacy according to the decisions of the European Court on Human Rights and all these judiciary in every jurisdiction, then the non-Western concept of privacy also, it does exist and we can see it. Our household, our accommodations, outfits, our social behavior. It reflects our understanding of privacy. And we started studying how the privacy is understood by Saudi Arabia and Emirates. And we studied the Saudi Arabia and Emirates frameworks that regulate artificial intelligence, that regulate ethics. Because when we speak about artificial intelligence, we can regulate it legally, but first we have to establish the ethical rules. And ethical rules are very important. And ethical rules depend on our religion, depend on our culture, and many other factors. And I stand on the point of view, and we have presented it in our paper that was published in the Malaysian Journal of Sharia and Law, that the Islamic approach to digital ethics is unique in a way that it adheres to the Islamic teachings. And it's very important for the Islamic world. And why I'm highlighting this aspect of my research? Because here in India, we have the biggest minority, the Muslim population that constitutes more than 14% of Indian population, according to the latest census. And I and my very good friend, I'm kind of promoting Dr. Zuhaida, and I would love to see her next year if you will be organizing this kind of conference, because she is a very good researcher from the Malaysian University of Islamic Science, and she is very good in her field. And I suppose that your international conference will benefit from her participation. And speaking about the finalizing, I suppose I have to finalize my speech. I truly believe that we in India should develop our framework for artificial intelligence, for the cutting-edge technologies, taking into account our cultural, religious, and many factors that make our country, that make our nation unique. Yes, we can follow the Western approach. We can follow them blindly. We can copycat them. We can copy paste. But these frameworks, these ethical frameworks, they should be implemented among people. And our people in India, they're very diverse. You know this better than myself. I was astounded on my first, during my first minutes in India. And this is I suppose this is the 17th month. It's been like more than a year since I've been living in Bengaluru, teaching my students and trying to be more experienced in Indian legal system. And I do understand that I have to study a lot, being a lot, because I cannot develop my theoretical concepts without complete understanding of Indian philosophy, ethics, legal thinking, and so on. So I want to recommend you, I want to give you advice. Please do collaborate internationally and don't ignore the scholarship of non-Western countries, because there are a lot of very bright scholars from the Middle East, from the Southeastern Asia, that are very impressive and that develop the frameworks, the theoretical concepts for the legal regulation of the new technologies in their own unique way. We have to, like, this is my personal point of view, and I will say it out of protocol. Some of you don't understand how blessed you are. You're really blessed to be Indians, to live in this beautiful country. And you're witnessing the shifts in the legal system, in the societal system. And I'm very happy witness this with you. And I will do all my best to develop Indian scholarship and to make a very humble but very sincere input from my side. Thank you so much and have a very good day today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Now we are delighted to have Mr. Alfredo Ronchi, Secretary General EC Medici Framework of Cooperation, Milan, Italy, with us today, who's going to share some exciting insights on law and technology. Alfredo M. Ronchi is a professor at the Politecnico di Milano, Secretary General and Head Representative of the Medici Foundation at ITU headquarters in Geneva, and UNESCO IFAF Director of the JRC S2D2, and former Mayor Representative of OCCAM at the United Nations headquarters in Geneva. He has collaborated with the Council of Europe, the World Bank, UNESCO, Austrian Ministry of Culture, Finnish Ministry of Culture, Italian Ministry for Foreign Affairs, and the Municipality of Kristiansand. He has published more than 400 papers and books on e-culture, e-government, e-learning, and has been an organizer and program chair for international conferences and workshops run by W3C, the ACM, and IEEE. Let's welcome him with great enthusiasm.
Experience, looking for a golden balance. Today, I will depict some of the most relevant issues characterizing the cyber world and jurisprudence. I will start my speech quoting Klaus Schwab. The world is at a crossroad. We are facing a significant turning point based on a portfolio of enabling technologies ranging between cyber, nano, and bio. Today, we will focus on cyber and the impact of this sector on society and its jurisprudence and regulatory framework. Digital transformation is reshaping society, impacting lifestyles. Are we facing a significant turning point toward a new normal? Digital technology is intertwined with almost all the life sectors. Since its dawn, the number of applications and solutions based on such technology at a surprising rate of growth. Considering the ontology point of view, cyber technology is a new entity, a new class of object, immaterial, clonable, on-the-fly shareable, almost zero cost all over the globe. These properties associated with some emerging or re-emerging technologies can pose some concerns and produce impact on society, human rights, ethics, jurisprudence, and regulations. Thanks to the diffusion of web technology, government agencies, institutions, and private enterprises from all over the world invested time and resources on e-services. So in a glimpse, government procedures, citizens' documents, and data fled in the format of bit streams. Sometimes, under the pressure of critical events, this process wasn't designed to ensure security. The key element to deliver such services is the cyber element termed platform. A relevant part of digital transformation relies on platforms, and it is intertwined with the owners of such platforms. This can be considered a kind of monopoly, not yet regulated, a gray zone. Platforms are mainly private, and the key ones are concentrated in few countries, creating a kind of oligarchy. The control buttons of our daily life are often outside the control of our nation state. So in digital transition, despite antitrust laws, there is a potential risk to fall under the control of few private players. It is true that platforms open the global market to small and micro enterprises, offering them a window on the globe. But at the same time, in this unregulated market, platforms create a shortcut between offer and demand that cuts off from business a major part of the traditional added value chain. This may cause serious troubles in case of problems in accessing platform, both due to malfunction or hackers attacks, and in case of top-down decision to selectively switch off the service. A plan B in such a situation, if not present, will require a long time to be implemented. In the analog world, we had different pipelines and channels to perform, thanks to different tools and means, our activities. In the cyber world, the whole activity depends on a cyber bottleneck, cyber technology. This pillar is quite fragile and subject to attacks or suitable for top-down discrimination. If this pillar will fail, malfunction, or will be switched off, our life will suffer sometimes unpredictable problems. No cyber, and consequently, no digital identity, no bank account, and social security. No service delivery, no news, and connection with other entities. Smart cities and grid models must carefully consider cybersecurity issue. As much as we install IoT and other cyber devices and services, as much the risk to be cyber attacked increases. Some of the recent events show the possibility to hack a huge number of IoT devices, generating impressive large-scale problems or disasters. What about industry machinery, today fully computerized, or critical infrastructure management? In the cyber warfare scenario, it might be enough to dispatch on the network a tag like Sunrise to collapse the whole target infrastructure. On the World Economic Forum 2024, Jeremy Jurgens foresaw the possibility of a global cyber attack that will take us back to the Stone Age. We are surrounded by critical infrastructure managed by cyber components that, in case of attacks, may create a major impact on our daily life. We don't mean only typical critical infrastructure like communication, energy, water, health, and transportation, and last but not less important nowadays, financial services. Due to citizens' appreciation and their role as everyday tools, we consider information services, social media, geopositioning, home automation, smart cities, safety and security devices, and more as critical infrastructure. All these potential drawbacks take us to move on a typical aspect concerning jurisprudence and the digital world, cybersecurity. We usually consider security as a seamless part of our life, apparently something requiring zero effort and costs. In our mind, there is no need to invest or care about it. This seems to be true till we face minor or relevant problems that break our conviction of feeling safe. Then security is no more a zero-cost commodity. We need to invest some resources to reach a certain level of insecurity. The concept of security, it is not an absolute and permanent status, but we can identify it as a dynamic balance between a specific asset or assets to be secured, the specific context, sometimes for a specific time span, the range of potential threats, and more. The double nature of cyber, many times it contributes to improve resilience, but because of its pervasive attitude, it can be target for attacks and generate the perfect storm. There is a diffuse need to better shape our jurisprudence and agree on a global regulatory framework concerning the whole cyber universe, ranging between IPRs and cybercrimes. Leveraging on laziness and relaxation, citizens spend less time outside home. They have shopping online, they buy food and drinks directly delivered on their tables, meet friends on Zoom and WhatsApp, interact with the outer environment through the mediation of social media and video clips. Since more than 2 decades, we are wrapped in our personal cybersphere in a kind of symbiotic relation. Citizens experience the world thanks to a cyber device-mediated approach. The new reality is the one delivered by devices. Cyber loneliness, one of the foreseeable risks, is a kind of addiction to this parallel life, training users to shift from real to meta life, blurring the borders between them. This may happen as much as the number of services and duties will be transferred on the other side of the license mirror. Meta life can propose a new normal that once accepted in the meta life might be accepted in the real life. The same, of course, is valid for mainstream information and opinion dynamics, especially if perceived as real and trustable. There is a concrete and present risk to manipulate opinions thanks to digital media, as well as to impact decision-making process. Among the different technologies offered on the shelf of digital transition, one of the most promising and concerning is assuredly artificial intelligence and its rich set of sister applications. Within the transformation, the AI sector seems to have currently the most relevant impact on large part of society, involving privacy, freedom, labor, security, lifestyles, and more. Today, artificial intelligence is growing at a phenomenal speed. Mind-boggling events like introduction of ChatGPT-4 and more recently the Chinese DeepSeek represent unprecedented challenges. Hence, regulation of artificial intelligence, including generative AI, becomes of crucial and critical importance. Key players in this field like Sam Altman and Elon Musk consider a must to regulate AI. The impact of AI-powered technology on human autonomy is huge. AI-enhanced nudges reinforce the ability to achieve the designer's goal using cognitive biases, emotional impulses, and other human behavioral mechanisms, both intentionally or unintentionally. We don't know the origin of the concerns often related to AI. Consider that potential cyber leviathan dominating humanity thanks to its high intelligence far exceeding the human one. One of the possible reasons is due to the term artificial intelligence that initiated the understanding that there are two intelligences, one human and the other artificial in exponential growth, potentially competing to rule the world, as some science fiction movies used to depict. Further exploring this branch of computer science, we find AI for good and its counterpart AI for bad, as some scholars term it the dark side of AI. If AI can transform an engineer in a super engineer or a medical doctor in a super medical doctor, are we ready to face super criminals? AI can be used maliciously, affecting cybersecurity, physical security, political security. Malicious use of AI in cybersecurity can include AI-powered cyber attacks, human-like denial of service, AI-powered malware, detect attacks target based on behavioral data, automated social engineering attacks via impersonation of trusted users, automated phishing, automated vulnerability discovery will be faster and harder to be discovered. Soon, your face can become a trigger for the execution of malware or even ransomware activated when target found. Deepfake of voices and video to persuade disclose critical information. A short list of key dilemmas having an impact on jurisprudence can start from AI biases about gender, culture, and more. Automated non-supervised decisions, automated vehicles' behaviors on land, air, and water, and related responsibilities. Impacts of general artificial intelligence, ethical data sourcing, analytics, and reuse. This to do not mention, again, malicious use of AI to exploit resources, leverage on deepfake and nudging, influence opinion dynamics, and perform high-end social engineering. Citizens are increasing use AI bots to carry out different activities, ranging from writing a poem to creating a deepfake. If spell and grammar checkers have already created new dialects and languages, except for example, MS English, AI is now generating one or maybe multiple creativities according with data that fed the system. We feed ML system mainly with big data from Western countries. This can lead, as happens in minoritized languages, to the disappearance of other intelligences. How to remove biases in machine learning models that could potentially discriminate against underrepresented groups. One of the potential scenarios soon is to face a geometric proliferation of documents due to this ghost author. How can we identify the human product from the machine product? Is AI to be considered as a co-author? Lawyers are already animating the debate together with other stakeholders. The US court recently negated the rights to AI-generated content. Local content will be soon generated by local bots. Publishers and event organizers are asking the contributors to sign a declaration about the use or not use of AI-based content, text, images, movies, and more. Is this simply an integration of paternity, human plus cyber, or is it a release of responsibility related to IPRs or other? Some researchers suggest issuing a regulation to impose the insertion of an invisible watermark in each AI-generated output. Is there a need to create a global AI regulatory framework? Some scholars suggest that the definition of AI should be as neutral as possible to cover techniques that are not yet known and developed. The overall aim is to cover all AI, including traditional symbolic AI, machine learning, as well as hybrid systems. At global level, UNESCO, IEEE, OECD, Council of Europe, and European Commission are active in regulating it. This rapidly evolving scenario is potentially expressing a power that no other transformations had in the past. There is a concrete risk to increase the gap between the two major blocks of the world's population. There is a strong need for frameworks involving all actors of the digital ecosystem: governments, institutions, policymakers, business, startups, developers, investors, NGOs, to integrate this work and activity in a global sustainable scenario respecting human rights. Taking into consideration each single technology and trend, there is no specific concern. And technology seems simply to ease our daily life. But getting much more in depth of each single innovation or putting together all the visible tiles of the new normal mosaic, we can be concerned. The challenges for the upcoming years are the ways to sustain the human's role and the inviolable right to freedom and personal privacy in the era of unlimited information gathering. Once again, the need to find a proper balance between humanities and technologies is omnipresent. Social sciences and humanities must establish a tight cooperation with technologies in designing and co-creating of cyber technologies, always keeping humans in the focus. I thank you all very much for your attention.
I think Pawan Duggal could not because he is busy in the Proceedings Supreme Court of India. Actually, he was waiting for half an hour, so we got delayed. That's why he has to go for Supreme Court of India for proceeding, and still the case is going on. He is not able to join back, so we are actually not lucky to listen him. We are losing him. Now this time for lunch break. So I request each one of you, please join lunch. Lunch for guests is in the Dean's Lounge, and for the students and others, it is in the foyer area of the second floor. We are meeting again at 1:30 for technical sessions. We have 2 physical sessions happening in first floor, second floor, and we have 7 online sessions. So I request all the students, participants, please join physical session, and also while joining physical, please be online for other online sessions. Okay. So thank you all of you. Please join lunch and join back again 1:30 to the technical sessions. Thank you all of you.